This is Belief Radio, positive thinking radio for positive thinking people with Rich Smith and Phil Keeler. To find out more about us and listen to the show, go to beliefradio.com or download us directly from iTunes. You can also listen to the latest show on the Belief Global YouTube channel and sometimes even see us. Follow us on Twitter as well at Belief Global and Facebook. And if you want to learn more about the range of products and services we offer you, please go to beliefglobal.com. Send your emails to info@beliefglobal.com.
Welcome. We're at Croydon Business Ventures again, second week, and we're doing another business feature on Jade Green Events, and I have the owner, chief executive, managing director, chief bottle washer, Jade Fletcher with me. Welcome, Jade.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Excellent. Well, good to have you on the show. And let's kick off straight away with finding out a little bit more about your company, and we'll take it from there, because it is, well, you know, I met you only last week when I did Chief Executive Norman Pierce.
Yeah.
So tell us about Jade Green Events. What do you do?
So we do events. It's in the name, which is quite helpful.
Yeah, it helps.
We really focus on music and fashion events and incorporating that where possible with corporate and charity. So
Yeah.
music and fashion obviously brings more of a live and exciting buzz to a lot of corporate events, and that all helps with charity and social enterprise where possible.
Yes.
Because I was going to quite a lot of events which were very nice but just not that exciting, and
Right.
I kind of thought, what could make these a bit more interesting? And I grew up in a very performance based household. My mum worked at the BBC and I went to performing arts college.
You're a dancer, aren't you, By?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I trained as a dancer and toured for a few years, doing music videos and just UK tours, things like Party in the Park and SMTV, CD UK back in the days. It's quite a long time ago now. So definitely the entertainment industry is something that I've always had a passion and an interest for.
Yes.
And again, with social enterprise, I was mentoring for Kids Company for about a year and really enjoyed that aspect as well. And I kind of have a keen interest in society, not in a kind of changing the world way, but just as in what can make things better for us and to improve our lives. So those are personal interests, and so as I said, where possible, kind of collaborating them. But we've done lots of different types of events. I mean, I freelanced on lots of projects. I did the MOBO Awards last year at the end, the nominations and the main awards, and I worked on the Olympics for BT.
Excellent.
And did the So Solid Crew farewell tour at the Indigo too.
You get to go to some good places.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of exciting people, and I never thought my life would be like this. I kind of did in the way where you kind of think, oh, I'd love to be doing this, and you know, and now to actually live part of it, it's really exciting.
Well, quite a lot on the show when we do our personal development talks, we talk about living your dreams and focusing on what you really want, and it will manifest if you stay focused on it. I
100% believe that.
Does that fit with how you got started?
Definitely.
I mean, tell us maybe about how you did get started. I mean, you go back in time. You started as a dancer. Is that what you did straight from school? Did you go to a performing arts school or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually got a place at university to study English and dance because I loved English and I really thought I was going to be a journalist.
Yeah.
But on my gap year, I got spotted dancing at Pineapple.
Oh dear.
You
weren't drunk or anything like that, were you, at the time?
No. I was doing one of my hip hop urban street dance classes, and while I was there, they kind of asked me and 3 other people to stay at the end of the class, and then they said, can we have you girls, are you interested in going on tour with this artist? And I was like, yeah, amazing. So then after I was doing that, I kind of thought, well, what's the point of me going to study dance when I'm doing it? And I did go to performing arts college. I went to arts educational, and I always had, I don't know, slightly entrepreneurial spirit, but more, I'm very creative. So I was always, from about the age of 10, I was always coming up with ideas and things that I wanted to do. I won't say they're business plans, but I had kind of little drawings of the things that I wanted to do in the future.
So you weren't selling milk bottle tops to kids at school?
No, unfortunately not.
Or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm not as entrepreneurial in that sense, which is something that I'm still working on.
It's the ideas. It was all the different creative thoughts.
Exactly. So I'm very creative. And when I went to performing arts college, I soon realised that I preferred being behind the scenes and actually putting the production side together than the actual performance. And I think that's kind of led into what I do now. You know, I don't have any more thoughts of being on stage, but I love watching the artists that are on stage, and I love thinking that I've contributed to that performance and that people are excited by watching that. That's what I really get my enjoyment from.
Okay, so you started in all this dancing. How did it progress from there? How did you leap from dancing into events?
Yeah, well, firstly, a lot of people in the performance sectors do seem to go into events. I think it's part of kind of hospitality in a way. But what happened was the agency that I ended up with, I didn't feel were really taking care of their performance very well. And I guess this comes into the social aspect. So I started working for the agency when I wasn't dancing, and just kind of really looking after the performers, making sure that they were there on time, that they felt comfortable.
And I guess having been on that side of the fence, you sort of understood and empathised a bit with what they go through.
Definitely. And one of the things that I really missed out on, I think, when I was the dancer, was that people would phone me up really last minute. Can you go to this casting? They wouldn't really give you the right information. They wouldn't give you time to practice. So you'd turn up and I wouldn't have half the right stuff, and other people did. And I kind of thought, that's not fair, and it knocks your confidence. So I was very big on kind of briefing people and making sure that they were confident. Exactly, yeah. And from there I moved into model booking. So that was kind of quite an easy transition. I was getting a bit bored because, again, if you're quite creative, that you know, there's only so far you can go with that. And while I was there, I actually contacted it was Croydon EDC at the time, I think, which is now BID, and contacted them because they were doing Croydon Fashion Festival at the time. And I said, well, I work for a local model agency, why don't we collaborate? And they said, yeah, great. Why don't you run 2 of our shows on our behalf? So they gave a small budget, a small but
you got to start somewhere.
Budget, yeah. And we provided the models, and they gave a list of local businesses they needed to be involved, and went and got the fashion designers, did the creative mood boards, put the backstage team together, chose the models, did the choreography, literally did everything. And I think that was one of my proudest moments, was actually seeing that whole show come to life, and all the people that were in the shopping centre, it was in the Whitgift Centre, enjoying it. And I think I actually shed a tear. And yeah, from that moment I was kind of like, this is what I want to be doing.
And I guess all those things, you might not have been an expert on them all.
No.
But some of them you'd never done before.
Never done any of it.
But it's like, so how do you overcome that? Because this would be interesting for listeners. It's like, because a lot of people will have an idea or be presented with an opportunity, but they turn it down because they say, well, I haven't got any experience in it. So how did you overcome that sort of, I don't know, I've never done this before?
I like a challenge anyway. I mean, it's really difficult because I think fear holds you back from a lot of things. But I think sometimes you have to not have the choice. So I will often say yes to as many things as I can, not knowing about them, but knowing that I will find a way to find out about them. And because I'm very passionate about everything that I do, and I'll work till 4 a.m. to get something done because I believe in that project, I believe in the client, and I believe in my own ability to find a way to get things done. A bit of problem solving, I guess. I was just like, okay, well, this is the time scale. These are all the things that I need to do. And if I can't do it, I'll find a way to do it, or find someone else that can. We're really lucky in this day and age as well, because we've got so much technology and the internet and access to so many people that you can put a call out and you can do research online and find out how to put a call sheet or mood board together. So...
And I actually find that if you talk to the right people, they're actually delighted to help a lot of the time.
Definitely.
Because particularly those who have really made it, they actually understand the journey that you've had to go through. So if they can give people a little helping hand along the way, most successful people will pass that on. I
think that's the difference. The successful people will. They're happy to share their knowledge. They're enthused that you're interested. People on the same level as you, or who are not where they want to be, can be a lot harder. And those are some lessons that I've learned along the way.
I think that's a very, very valid point. I've certainly noticed that.
Yeah.
The successful ones understand the journey, understand the hardships that you have to go through, and they're willing to help. The ones who are the wannabes, or the ones who've reached a level but can't get past it, quite often are guarded and won't share anything and see you as a threat. And it's actually, that's the barrier to them moving on, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So Jade Green Events, how long has it been in operation then as a business? Is this first year start or?
Yeah, well, I was freelancing at the beginning of this financial year, and I still do some freelance projects. But what really kick-started it was winning the RBS competition.
Ah, yes, I was going to come on to that. I noticed that on your website.
Yes.
So tell us what this award was.
It was really great. CBV, I've kind of been coming to for a number of years just to get advice.
Yes.
And they encouraged me to come to this 3-day seminar about women, particularly starting in business. And while I was there, I met a lady speaking who really interested me, and I actually ended up working for them, freelancing them for a bit. And she spoke about the real realities about being in business for women and for people in general, because I've been to a lot of talks, I've met a lot of people that go, oh, yeah, it's fantastic being in business, and, you know, they kind of gloss over some of
she
really difficult
maybe
stuff.
gave the warts and all bits, did she?
She gave the warts and all, and she said, you know, even 4 years down the line where they're successful, there are still struggles. And, you know, she really kind of put things into a manageable context where I kind of thought, that's me. It's not only me, but where she is where I can be. And so I ran after her afterwards and said, can I have a coffee with you? Ended up doing some work for her, as I said, some freelancing, which was great. And then after that, I did my business plan. They put me together with a mentor who's been fantastic. And they suggested that I went for this competition. So as I said, we had to really work on the business plan, look at the financial elements, that kind of thing, do the forecasts, and then do a presentation in front of a panel, which I did in this room actually.
Oh, wow.
Brings back memories. And I was very lucky enough to be one of the 5 winners.
Excellent.
And won an office upstairs for a year. And
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of, it pushed me in a way, because I was kind of ticking along freelancing.
Yes.
But again, got to a point where I was like, I'm not really fulfilled because I'm doing all these things for other people, and really I want to be doing my own thing. So that's kind of what kickstarted and pushed me into making it into a business. And now, you know, I'm really looking to put it into a brand. I don't just want to be doing a business. I want to have Jade Green as a brand that I'm pushing into all the different areas that I'm interested in.
Yeah. And just to re-clarify, that was the RBS Women in Enterprise Award, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is amazing, and I'm
really
sure,
amazing.
you know, I'm sure it's helped you, or has it helped you in, maybe winning business?
Yeah, probably not in the obvious ways, but in the ways that when I've been promoting the business and people have looked on the website and they see that come up, they kind of, I think they see you on a different level.
Yes.
It's not just, you're not just some random individual pitching for business. Or,
no, it's like you must have something about you to have won that award.
Yeah.
So it gives you maybe the foot in the door, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you know, something different, because not everybody will win the award. There's only going to be one winner of that particular award, isn't there? So
yeah, and also it's a talking point for people when you go networking, and you know, they ask about your business and you say, well, actually last year I won an award, and obviously RBS, great name behind you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's definitely been helpful.
So I don't know what time period. At some point in the future, 5 years from now, say, how do you see Jade Green Events? Is it going to be a bigger organisation? Is that what you want it to be, or is it?
Yeah, it's going to be a bigger organisation. I would say as focused on our own events as other people's.
Yeah.
That's where I'd like to see it going. And also to have developed some other ideas. So it's, as I said, not just Jade Green Events, it's Jade Green as a brand. And where I take that, I don't know yet at the moment. But as I said, I'm very creative. I'm always thinking of ideas. So it's kind of having the time and the finance behind to really go into these other different directions.
Well, having been into businesses for 20 years, different executives, different levels, you're a breath of fresh air to see you know, the way you're talking and the way you've already approached things and the successes you've had. So I know you'll be, well, maybe I won't even be able to get an interview with you in 5 years from now, you know, and we'll have to, I don't know, give you money or something to bribe you.
IPA.
Yes, to your entourage that follows you around. In fact, you'll be running events, and, you know, it will be a Jade Green event where you're on a stage doing something.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
That's where I'd like to see it go.
So for young entrepreneurs out there, because I know there are plenty right now, there's 120 countries listening to you, and there's probably some young people who are still at school maybe, or just leaving school, maybe thinking, I don't know where my future lies. Have I got a future? Can I? I'd like to run a business, but can I do it? What would be your advice to them?
I think it's really about understanding yourself and what your strengths are, firstly. I'm not a businesswoman. I mean, I'm not naturally a business. Yeah, I'm not naturally a businesswoman. One of my best friends, I would say, is a businesswoman. She doesn't care what she does. She's a salesperson and she's amazing at it. That's not me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm very creative. But I've learned how to become a business person through this program and through the experiences that I've had.
Yeah.
So I want to say to anyone that's got ideas or thinks that they can't be in business because they're not academic, for example, I'm rubbish with numbers. But the good thing about that is that there's people around me that aren't and that have taught me how to be better with numbers and to not be scared of it. So I would definitely say, you know, just because you're not a business person and you don't see yourself coming from a conventional background, that doesn't matter. You just need to be able to go for it. And I think, you know, try and be fearless. It took me a long time to be as fearless as I am, and I've still got a way to go.
Yep.
But it's literally like things don't knock at your door. You have to knock at opportunities.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. I mean, you can sit in your house and you can think of these ideas, but if you're not going out there, you're never going to get because people don't know about you. No. It's not that they don't want to know about you. It's
you
that
could be the best thing since sliced bread.
Exactly. You don't have the presence. But no one knows about
But there's 8 million people in London alone, so how on earth are they going to find you?
It's, you know, and I think that in all walks of life, in terms of my friendships, my relationships, you know, everything that I do. And it took me a long time to kind of get hold of that idea. And, you know, I've had so many knockbacks along the way, but for every knockback I've had also amazing opportunities, you know, and I'm a great believer in that, you know, if it's not the right opportunity for you, it won't materialize.
Yes.
But the right opportunities will.
Yes.
So, you know, things like I didn't get a contract that I really thought I was going to get, but then I got the MOBO awards.
Yes.
And, you know, that's amazing for someone like me from where I came from, and obviously great to have on my CV. And
totally.
So, yeah, so don't give up. There's lots of knocks, but, you know, the right things will materialise for the right people at the right time. I really do believe that.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think sometimes, and not just running your own business, but if you're in your career and you definitely want to get that job or that particular contract, and you push and push and push, and then you were convinced it was for you and you don't get it, and you're a bit upset, but actually there was a reason.
There's definitely a reason.
And when you're 5 years in the future and you look back, you can see actually why that happened.
Yeah.
You almost can see a linear line that if that had happened, you'd have gone in a different direction.
Yeah.
But the fact that it didn't, you ended up meeting somebody else and something else happened and it led you down a different path. And you wouldn't be where you are now without those things happening. So I think the knockbacks are opportunities in disguise, really.
Absolutely. Really believe
very,
that.
very much so.
Yeah, and then I would also say that instinct is a really powerful thing. You know, I've gone against my instinct so many times. You know, if there's that feeling that you have, then you, as you grow older, I think you kind of tend to embrace it a bit more. But if you can grasp that at a younger age, I think you will do really, really well. Because if there's a reason that you're not feeling comfortable about it, then that is the reason. So there's lots of things where I've thought, oh, I should do this or I shouldn't do that because logically I should or shouldn't. But it's like that whole chain reaction. You know, if you're not 100% happy, either there is a reason for it or you're going to have reasons for it because of the way that you feel.
Yes.
When you've got the right energy behind you, then things will progress in a much more productive and positive way. So definitely try and listen to your instinct.
That is so, you know, if nothing else, trust the instinct. I know, and you're right, it does come in time, but if you can just listen to that inner voice, because it's there for a reason, and it dates back millions of years to survival and basic instincts. That instinct kept us alive, and it will keep you in business, and it will open up the right opportunities for you.
Yeah.
Any last things, because we're heading towards the end of the program already, believe it or not?
No, I don't think so. I did write some just more practical
Give
tips
them.
for success.
I'm pleased to see you're prepared. You're the first guest that's ever been on that actually has done some prep.
Yeah, I wrote
and
some
I'm
notes.
a great believer that proper, preparation promotes peak performance. I call it my 6 Ps.
I like that. I might have to write that down afterwards.
Right.
So some of my tips would be, so USP is such a cliche, but it's always used in business. But how I've come to see it recently is that rather than unique selling points, it's actually unique selling personality. In my business and in so many businesses, there's so much competition. We all do the same thing. So many people do events.
Yep.
What's going to set me aside from other people? Well, what sets me aside as a person in business is the fact that, as I said, I will stay up till 4 a.m, 2 a.m, 6 a.m, as will my team, because we believe in a project that much and because we don't want to let people down.
Yeah.
If you go to a typical events agency, they'll clock off at 6 o'clock. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about selling my personality. Again, you can go to a corporate events company, agency, and it'll be very buzzy, very professional, but you won't necessarily get the enthusiasm and passion that someone like me will give you. So I definitely encourage people to look at their personality and really kind of work out that is going to be the thing that clinches the business.
Yeah.
If
people buy people, don't they?
Exactly. If they buy into you, then they're going to buy into your brand a lot more. So that's one of my points. To find your motivation and your passion. Again, there's lots of people that do a job and they don't really enjoy it. It's a 9 to 5, and they're never going to give out the right kind of energy. Something that I really focus on in my business is guest experience.
Right.
So what I do is when I do an event, I actually visualize. It's a bit strange. Close my eyes, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, lie on the sofa, and I visualize and I think about all the different elements that I would want to feel as a guest when I go into the events. So that's everything from, the service that I get when I walk in, how friendly the staff are, are the toilets signposted, where are the seats, what kind of food and drink am I going to get, all of that kind of thing. And that's what, again, I bring to an event that some other people don't, for example.
Jade, that sounds perfect sense to me.
Good. But that's what I'm passionate about, so that's how I can
don't worry if the police cart you off because they see you lying on a bench somewhere and call the funny farm or something.
Yeah.
But no. In your world, it makes sense.
It makes sense to me, and it makes sense to my clients, because there's lots of things where there's been events where I've kind of gone in and analysed them, because they've been functional events. They've done the job, but they haven't excited me. So I've gone to these events, I've analysed them, and then I've come out and said, these are all the things that you could change. And one of my clients said, you've done such a great job. You lowered my outgoings by 27% and increased my profit by 33%, just by changing these small things. But again, that's because I'm passionate about it. So I will look at all these things in detail.
The detail.
So really look at the things that you're passionate about, because you're never going to be able to sell things that don't interest you that much. Listen and learn. That's a big thing. I know Norman actually talked about listening to your clients, and that's really true. Picking out the key bits of information that are a worry to them, or they're not 100%. They haven't kind of got 100% of what they want out of the product or whatever it is. They want a bigger return on investment. Those are the key words that you need to really pick up on. So whether or not you go back to them straight away, or you take that time to then think, these are all the things that I could help with, because that's what they actually need help with, rather than this is what I want to sell them.
And I think listening applies to everything in life. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, and use them in those proportions.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes.
But that's called the ego kicking in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, another couple of things, just keep pitching. But not all business is good. So again, if it's the right opportunity, it will materialize. If it's not, move on quickly. That's what I've learned to do, is not to take it personally, just to move on quickly. This time last year was a very different position for me. I spent all of Easter emailing people. I didn't take any bank holiday. I watched all my friends go out and party, and I literally sat on the computer emailing. And out of about 50 people, 60 people that I emailed personally, did the research, I think about 5 came back to me with positive responses. I think I got 2 contracts out of that immediately, but then that followed on to having 6 months worth of work booked.
Absolutely.
So that's persistence.
And that is so true. You know, when I first set my very first business up, that's exactly what I did. Is I contacted clients and said, let me come and work for you for free. And if I save you some money, great. And if you want to pay me, fine.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's fine. Just get the freebie. And I think 3 or 4 clients paid me. The others I didn't get any response, and it started, and then you go from there, don't you?
Getting into that positive space again, and just having the one thing that can get the ball rolling is really important. And then lastly, I just wanted to say that success is relative. You know, success for me is me being happy. It's me being able to do the things that I really enjoy. So go horse riding, go on holiday, spend time with my family, go out for dinner. You know, there's lots of people that talk about success, but there's people who we perceive as successful, but they're not happy. And that's really sad, to work all your life and to actually not be in a place where you're happy. So success is relative, and I consider myself successful even at this point when I haven't reached everything that I want to do.
That's a very, very valid point, because all work and no play makes people, it's like, what's the point of doing it?
Exactly.
And you know, I met a guy years ago on a leadership program, and we talked about this, what definition of success, and of course everybody was given the usual businessy definitions of success, and he just said, mine is every day above ground is a good one. And I like that, because basically every single day, provided he was breathing, he was being you know, he was achieving his definition, whereas those who set it so narrow that I'm only going to be happy when this happens, you're going to be miserable most of the time, and if you're miserable, you're not going to necessarily be as motivated as you could be.
Exactly.
So I think that's an excellent point. I mean, thank you for writing those notes and summarising it, because sometimes with certain people, when we're interviewing them, we ask them for their 3 top tips, and they struggle to even come up with one. Well, you've just given us about 6 or 7 there. So it's been an absolute delight having you on the show.
Great.
All the absolute best for, you know, Jade Green Events and its continuing success. And I have no doubt whatsoever that in another year from now, if we meet again, and you're welcome to come back and tell us how you're getting on, that it will be an even bigger, better, happier, successful company, and you'll have touched a lot of other clients' hearts.
Hopefully so.
So thanks for being on Belief Radio.
Thank you very much.
And good luck for the future.
Great, thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.